Greetings and welcome to another installment of RTS Roulette. Today's random selection is Company of Heroes 2, and this is a game I wanted to take on for a while. It's a little bit too complex for me to go online, I still don't understand the tech tree very well, but this is a really good RTS game. Company of Heroes is developed by Relic, and if you know anything about RTS games, you know that they make the good shit, but oddly enough, it's published by Sega, which still kind of weirds me out, you know? Not that Sega can't publish what they want, and I know that they published the Total War series and several other PC games, but it's just odd to see a company like this doing PC games. Typically, they just stick to consoles, you know what I mean? Or maybe a better way to put it is that it's weird that Sega's publishing more RTS games than Blizzard or EA. You know, the people that, well, they didn't make Command & Conquer, but the people that own Command & Conquer and the people that made fucking Warcraft and StarCraft, they're putting out less RTS games than fucking Sega. Not that I'm knocking on Sega, they put out some good games here and there, they also put out some shit, but I guess what I'm saying is that it's weird that Sega would take this kind of risk, you know? They seem like the kind of company that would just stick to the consoles, put out a Sonic game, put out their franchises, don't invest in other companies, but, you know, they actually go out there and do some pretty interesting stuff. Though I'm sure Relic could have gotten another publisher for this game very easily, it's just interesting to see Sega supporting PC games and RTS games of all things. I mean, these games are kinda going out of style, and I hate to say that because it's one of my favorite genres, but let's face it, Dota, League of Legends, those MOBA games, they're trouncing this genre right now. I mean, hell, look at Command & Conquer 4. It wouldn't have turned out like that if MOBAs weren't starting to peak up, and EA was like, oh shit, change the game, they don't like it anymore. So I guess that's why it strikes me as odd that Sega published it. To me, it would seem like they'd do something like maybe a Phantasy Star MOBA or something with their own properties, but instead they said, hey, Relic, you make good games, we'll publish them. Pretty smart business move, I'd say. At least I'd say. I haven't seen the sales figures, but if this didn't make any money, that would be fucking stunning. Anyways, on to the game. It looks like a standard RTS game, but there's a lot of nuances that really aren't standard at all. For example, you gain most of your resources through capture points, and you want to control these points as much as possible, so there's a lot of map control involved in this game. If you just sit back in your base and turtle, you're gonna get wiped out. You have 3 different resource types, manpower, fuel, and ammo, and they basically power everything. I mean, if you want to lay a mine as an engineer, for example, it costs ammunition, and there's certain things that cost fuel and such. It's a little bit too complex for me to go into, but to put it in simple terms, the resources are based off map control, and you really need to monitor everything closely. If you spend too much of one resource, you could totally fuck your tech tree over, or you might not be able to put a bomb down when you need to, so don't waste anything. Now, as far as combat goes, it's way more complex than it looks. Your units can hide behind cover, gives them a tactical advantage. In addition to that, you have tanks with multiple damage points, so if your tank gets shot from the side or the back, it takes different amounts of damage. Lots of really cool things like that. In fact, tank positioning is so important that you can't just tell a tank to attack something. There may be something in the way. It may shoot at the ground, or it may shoot at a building that's in the way, so if you don't monitor things closely, you can end up losing a fight just by not getting the first shot off and fucking everything up right there. And as you can see, the artificial intelligence is pretty good. You know, I throw a Molotov at them, they try to run out of the way of it instead of just sitting there and taking it. It's a real improvement over most RTS games to where the AI just kind of sits there and takes whatever you throw at them. Actually, there's a pretty good chance I'll lose this match because I'm a total noob and the AI doesn't fuck around. It doesn't assume that you're some kind of newbie and doesn't let you just trounce it. Which honestly I appreciate. I mean, some games they kind of go too far with the hard AI, but the AI here feels natural. I don't feel like I'm getting mind read or that they're cheating with some kind of boosted economy, you know, kind of like Command & Conquer. Again, I'm going to reference that game a lot here, but I really appreciate the fact that the AI doesn't seem to have some kind of enhanced build speed or some other kind of buff to kind of, I don't know, smooth over the fact that the AI is janky, kind of like in Command & Conquer, where the AI is actually pretty stupid, so they have to give it cheating-like advantages just to make it work. It's also not like Age of Empires 3, to where you can just feel that you're fighting an artificial intelligence opponent, you know what I mean? They build everything instantly, they seem to be able to do multiple things at once, all those kind of weird things. The AI here just doesn't do that. At least not to my experience. Maybe if I crank up the difficulty they will, but in my experience in the game so far, the AI's been pretty fair. I'm pretty sure they play by the same rules that we do. which honestly is a breath of fresh air. I mean, I like playing online. Playing against a human opponent is something that the artificial intelligence probably won't ever be able to replace, but at least here I feel like I'm fighting an opponent that's there and has a brain and not just some kind of script routine or something that's just reading my commands or something that can see the whole map or, like I said, has a huge amount of unlimited resources or some kind of other cheap advantage. Everything feels like it's on the level, which to me is really impressive because most RTS games fuck that up. It must be really hard to program AI for these kind of games. So I gotta give Relic a lot of credit for that. They don't make games with bad AI, and that's a lot more important than some people may think. I mean, if you're playing a game for multiplayer, then I guess it doesn't matter to you, but it makes the campaign better. You can do skirmishes for fun, and hell, you can learn more about the game by playing the easy AI even. You know, you learn lessons instead of basically fighting something that's not going to teach you a damn thing about how to play the game online. And thinking about it, that's important to people that know how to play the game too, because if the only people playing the game online are professionals, and the AI doesn't teach you shit about how to play the game, that's going to dilute the player base. New players aren't going to continue playing it, they're not going to try to play online, they're not going to enjoy the game. So it's basically another nail in the coffin for your online experience. Also, in RTS games, bad AI doesn't just affect the single-player skirmish, it also affects you because all of your units are controlled by AI. If your units have bad AI, then you're going to have something like Command & Conquer to where a bottleneck just completely ruins your army. You can't get them to go anywhere. You have to split them up bit by bit and try to wedge them through a bridge, and that shit's just fucking annoying. It's also one of those things that keeps an RTS game from reaching professional level, kind of like how StarCraft 2 is really popular because the AI's not stupid. You know, you won't see a AI character in StarCraft 2 just bug out and get itself killed and basically give another player an advantage just because the AI had a glitch. That kind of shit will ruin an RTS game. Or at the very least, what it'll do is make your RTS game a quote-unquote cult classic, which is code for a game that really wasn't good enough to be professional or in any way competitive on a really high level. Not that you can't have a high-level gameplay experience with Command & Conquer, but because of the AI and the pathing and lots of other issues like that, it's just never going to be on the same level as games like this and StarCraft. In fact, this game's not even on the same level as StarCraft, and oh, I don't even know what to say about that. Because frankly, I'd rather watch this than StarCraft, although I really haven't given StarCraft 2 too much of a shot. You know, I've seen videos of it, and I have a copy of it that I've been meaning to get around to playing, but, well, I guess I'll just have to save that for when it comes up. Needless to say, my expectations for that game are particularly high. If the AI's not as good as Company of Heroes 2, I'm gonna be pretty fucking disappointed. Man, now I really want to just play that one. I've been saving it for RTS Roulette just because, you know, a fresh experience is kind of fun to watch sometimes, especially for a popular game that's been out for a while to somebody who may not be experienced playing it, but it's kind of hard to do with RTS games because they're complex. Like, even my gameplay right now, I don't really know what I'm doing. I've had a couple of practice rounds in, but I don't understand the tech tree or anything like that. I'm just taking what knowledge I have from Company Heroes 1 and bringing it over to this one. Speaking of strategy, I haven't really talked about what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm trying to get as many capture points as possible and getting my resources up so I can start building some tanks and hopefully get some light tanks out there as quickly as possible so I can roll over these infantry. Now, if I can't get my light tanks out and attacking before the AI gets their heavy tanks out, that could cause a lot of problems for me because I just don't know the tech tree well enough. I'd build heavy tanks on my own, but if I do that, I know what's going to happen. They're going to send some kind of infantry unit that can take out tanks really easily, and then my heavy tank's worthless, and then their heavy tanks are going to trounce me. Yeah, that could go really badly. I'm just going to stick with what I know, and that's basically the low to mid-tier units. If I try to go into the high-tier stuff, I'm going to get wiped out. Not that this game's overly complex, but it's like any other RTS game. If you don't know what you're doing and you try to just build all the biggest, most powerful stuff and you take your time and just fuck around, the next thing you know, the AI is just gonna ruin you. I'd say my biggest problem right now is that I know how the infantry works, at least as the Russians, but I don't quite know any anti-tank routines. Like, I wouldn't know what to build to try to take out a heavy tank with the infantry, so right now, my plan is to take advantage of my economy. I have more money than they do, I'll have the light tanks before they do, and I should be able to move them in before they can come up with any kind of counter. At least I hope so. Like that thing, whatever the fuck it is. I don't think it's going to be able to take out my light tank, but well, I guess I'll find out in a minute. I know for damn sure my infantry aren't going to be able to do anything. I don't have any kind of anti-tank anything. I mean, I got the Molotovs, but I don't think that they're going to do anything against armor. Now, there is an anti-tank grenade I could buy for my conscripts, which would help out, I think, but I haven't used it before. In addition to that, the cost may make it to where I can't build a second tank, and I kind of want to get 2 or 3 of these out here on the battlefield, like right now. Basically, the idea is to press my economic advantage, and they're not rolling out too much anti-tank stuff. So if I have a bunch of tanks out and I roll over the infantry and I get to the base, I should be able to do a pretty good amount of damage. At least I think so. I also really want to get rid of those mortar units. They're going to slaughter my infantry, and they can run away into the shroud, and yeah, there's a lot of problems associated with that. The artillery in this game has pretty long range, so you don't want to just leave it there. In fact, some of the stuff can shoot all the way across the whole map, so it's in your best interest to blow that shit up right away. Oh, they got away, and they're probably going to get healed up somehow, but at least they're out of my hair for a minute. I can sit here and think for a bit. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Most people don't watch these videos for more than about 5 or 10 minutes, so I got a little treat for you people here that are gonna, stick around and watch these all the way through. I figured if you watch this long, you either really like the channel, you like the content, or you really like some Company of Heroes. So, because of that, I have an extra Company of Heroes key that I'm gonna give away. Well, Company Heroes 2 to be exact. This game right here that I'm playing, otherwise it'd be kind of pointless. Well, not pointless, but just kind of awkward. It'd be like me giving away Warhammer or something right now. I'll have to wait for later. Anyhow, let's see, how am I going to give this away? I got to give it away randomly, but I can't just, give it to somebody without having some kind of incentive, So, since you're only going to know about it by watching it this far, I'm going to give it away randomly to people that mention their favorite RTS game in the comments. Doesn't matter which game it is, you could hate this game and just want the key, that's fine. I'd rather give it to somebody that likes it, but, if you just really want to win, I can understand that. So just mention your favorite RTS game in the comments. I'll compile everybody's name who does, and then I'll put it into a little random pool, announce the winner here on the channel, and you may get yourself a brand new copy of Company Heroes 2. And hell, just to sweeten the deal, if you really want to, the winner gets to play me in a one-on-one or a bot stop. You pick. Whatever mode you want to play, whatever you want to do, we'll do a round. That'll be pretty fun, I think. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this kind of thing for every RTS Roulette video that I make, but if I have an extra key or, just say the game's cheap, I got a couple extra bucks on me, I'm going to try to continue to give away a couple of games here and there. Because you people have been really good to me on YouTube, and I like to give back. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly a millionaire or anything like that, so I can't afford to give everybody a copy, and I most definitely can't afford to do it for every single video, so don't hold it against me too hard if you don't win. It is going to be a random pool, and I just can't afford to give away 3 or 4 copies, That would be nice, but the money just isn't there. Then again, things have been getting pretty good lately with the Dolan deal, so who knows, maybe in the future it'll be a regular thing. Well, maybe if I got enough money, I'd give away 3 or 4, maybe even like 10. Then again, if I'm making that much money, I'd have like 10,000 viewers, so I guess there's some diminishing returns there, but I'll try to do my best. Anyhow, back to the game at hand. The AI's really giving me a lot of shit right now. I mean, I could fight them back if I spent a bunch of money on infantry and climbed the ladder, rung by rung instead of trying to skip right up to the tanks. But if I don't skip up to the tanks and try to press this economical advantage, they're probably going to beat me. I can just see that happening. So, yeah, I'm just going to try to chase these fuckers down with what I got. Hopefully my tanks don't get too damaged. And when I get about 2 or 3 of them, I'm going to try to roll in and destroy their base. Or at least take out enough of it so that I can get all these capture points recaptured and hopefully keep my economical advantage and just, waste the rest of their base. But, if they bring out a heavy tank, that could really complicate things. That's my biggest fear right now. I know the German tanks are particularly powerful too, so yeah, my little tiny Russian tanks aren't going to stand much of a chance if they bring some heavy stuff out. Just as long as I prevent them from getting too many of these capture points, I should be fine, though. I mean, I don't think that they'll have the money to get that far, and I can build these tanks, some cheap conscripts, have my anti-infantry, my light anti-armor, I guess is the best way to put it. and I should be doing pretty good. They could bring in some anti-tank guns, and that could cause some issues, but again, I could just send the conscripts in after that, and that would be a pretty good counter, I think. That being said, if they bring in some serious artillery and keep it in their base, they could knock out my light tanks, and there may not be that much I can do about it if they have recon out there. That could be a big issue. Also, kind of thinking about making some snipers or some of the other more advanced Russian. Shit, I don't even know what fucking country I'm fighting as. That's pretty sad. Anyways, some more of the Russian stuff. Like, you know, snipers or the other close range one they got. It's got some submachine guns and some grenades. Work pretty well. That might work out well, but again, if I invest too much in infantry and then they bring in the heavy tank and I don't have any anti-tank infantry, then I'm in some really big shit. So yeah, there's a lot to consider here, and it's a tough thing to do when you don't understand the tech tree too well. In my opinion, if you're not 100% sure what to do in an RTS game, you should probably be attacking, because most people make the mistake of not attacking and just holding back and going, no, just a few more credits here, a few more credits there, I can build a super unit, just run them all over, that'll work, that'll work. And typically that's the thing that gets you killed. Doing pretty good so far, though. No real anti-tank stuff here. And also, I used one of my powers. I don't really know how to explain the powers in this game, but I bought some of those guards, riflemen, or whatever. They got anti-tank rifles. They should back up these tanks pretty well. They're sitting behind the concrete wall there. That should help out a whole lot. But, again, I really don't know what I'm doing. I used to play Company of Heroes back when the game first came out, and I did a couple of practice runs here, but I'm by no means an expert on this game. That's okay, you know. If you don't know what you're doing, just do your best, and sometimes it does work out. I mean, honestly, I thought I was going to lose this one, but it's looking pretty good right now, actually. Never let a hard game discourage you. Some of the best feelings I get from games are when I beat something that I thought was going to kick my ass. Ah, shit. Speaking of getting my ass kicked, here comes one of those heavy tanks I was talking about. That thing can take out all three of my tanks that I got here. I really need to be careful. You know what? Fuck it. I just better attack it. There's really no way to get around that.
Our T-34s have been outfitted with 85mm guns. We will follow their tracks to victory.
Ah, shit. That was close. Thank God I bought those anti-tank infantry. If I didn't buy those, that tank would have wiped out all my other tanks, and this whole attack would have just been flooded. But now that I blew up that tank, they're not going to have any fuel to build another one, and I think that leaves the advantage in my court right now. But, oh, I don't know how much resources I actually have, so I better just press the advantage and kick the shit out of them right now. And I'm just now noticing I have a ton of manpower and ammunition, but I didn't really buy any infantry. I could have had a whole lot more infantry out here. I was kind of just focused on getting tanks, kind of playing this like Command and Conquer, you know? That was a mistake. You really don't want to play this game like you just have one type of resource. If you do that, you're going to end up like me right here, to where I just got one tank and a couple of anti-tank soldiers, and not enough to really just take out the base right now. Another mistake I made is that the engineers can actually build kind of upgrades to the capture points, so I could build a thing on a capture point that would give me extra fuel. So if I went through the trouble of building those, I could probably have twice as many tanks right now, if not more. So that was another mistake that I made. Lots of improvements I could have made here, but at least I'm beating the standard AI. I didn't have to crank it down to easy. I mean, I say that, but I haven't won the game yet. Who knows? Things could get turned around. I've had that shit happen to me before in RTS games. That sucks so hard, you know? You get, like, right on the cusp of victory, you just kick the enemy down, then they build up and take you out. I mean, that shit feels great when you're doing it, but when it's being done to you, it's pretty much the worst fucking feeling in an RTS game. It's like you fucking had it, and you fucked it up. So awful. And the AI can't even enjoy it. I mean, all the AI feels is kill, 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 kill. So when the AI does it to you, it's kind of doubly shitty. That being said, I'm pretty optimistic right now. At least if the AI really does follow the rules that the players had, they shouldn't have any fuel right now, and they're not going to be able to build any serious anti-tank stuff. And even if they do, I have enough manpower that I could just build a whole shitload of conscripts and flood them. Not to mention I have all the capture points. That means, well, not all the capture points, but basically all the capture points. At least enough to the point that they're not going to be able to afford very much, even if they do repel me. Oh no, wait a second, I just looked down. I don't have most of the capture points. They managed to send a couple engineers out to take all the stuff I haven't defended. See, that's a big mistake I made. If I built a bunch of infantry, I could have had them just sitting at the capture points defending them. I could have done stuff with the engineers to help protect those, but I just left those naked and I didn't spend all my manpower. I could have just had a way better defense. Oh well. That's how you get good at RTS games. You make mistakes like that and you learn from them. So next time I play this game, I'm going to build some of the shit that I need, make sure to build more infantry, don't waste my resources. If I do that, then the standard AI is not going to pose any kind of challenge whatsoever. Then I can move up to hard and really see how the AI is, because I haven't really seen how they function on the highest difficulty. Mainly because they just kick my shit in and I wouldn't learn a damn thing. But hey, for playing a random RTS game, I learned a pretty fair deal about this one, and oh, there we go, mission complete. That was pretty fucking fun. Now, I kind of regret not playing this game as much. I mean, I love generals, but there's so much more complexity to this. You got the cover system, you can put infantry behind tanks and protect them from machine gun fire. Imagine if you could do that in fucking generals, that'd be awesome. You got your RPGs behind your tanks and shit. Oh man, that'd make infantry generals so much more powerful. And while this isn't my favorite resource system, I actually do like it because it encourages you to press forward and take the map and not just rush your opponent's base and cripple them from the inside, you know? Though I'm sure there's a bunch of rush tactics that I have no fucking idea how to perform, it's nice to see a game that doesn't seem to be too centralized around that, you know? At least if there are rush tactics, they don't seem quite as simple as Command & Conquer. You know, I could send out a bunch of tanks in Command & Conquer early on, but in this game I'd have to get the fuel together. And to get the fuel together and all that, I'd have to capture points. And to capture points, you need infantry. So, yeah, that does kind of limit your rush options a bit, and that's kind of nice. Nothing against rushing, but in certain games, yeah, I'm going to bring it up again, like in generals, you can kind of just rush people and get a 50-50 chance of winning based on whether or not you got to open part of their base or not. And that kind of sucks. I really don't enjoy that. That being said, the base building in this game's kind of weak, but then again, I didn't build anything on the capture points, and maybe it spreads out more into that. I think I'd have to play the game a little bit more before I could really judge it, but from what I've played so far, I really regret not playing this game more. It's a fucking great RTS game. Basic rule of thumb for anybody who plays RTS game, anything Relic makes, just go buy it. It's good. Like, even if you don't enjoy the format, like, say you don't like Warhammer, just go buy Warhammer. It's a fucking great RTS game. This is good, Warhammer's good. Even that Xbox 360 game, The Outfit, that was kind of like a action RTS game, that was fucking great. I wasted a lot of time on that one. Sega was really fucking smart to buy Relic after THQ went bankrupt. I mean, you know, these guys being up for grabs, really fucking great idea to grab them. I'm glad Sega did it, because if EA did it, or Activision did it, they'd probably ruin the company, but Sega seems to be treating them pretty well. At least for now, anyways, until they dissolve the company or do something fucked up to them. In fact, I haven't been keeping up with them. Maybe they've already done that. I kind of doubt it, though. I mean, Sega's not the best publisher. They put out some crap, like I said earlier, but they're not EA evil. You know, they don't go out of their way to fuck over the customer, and they seem to be interested in putting out good games, and they don't really destroy studios. I haven't seen them wreck any kind of studios. I mean, Platinum Games is still around, right? So good on Sega for saving Relic, because like I said, if EA or Activision bought these guys, there probably wouldn't even be a Company of Heroes 2. It'd be like fucking Battlefield MOBA RTS, and half the people in Relic would have quit, and you just have some kind of stupid, sloppy bullshit mess like Command & Conquer 4. That being said, I took a look at the DLC on this game, and it looks slightly predatory, like they're selling factions. Like, you know, say for instance you want to play as Toxin General in Command & Conquer. It's kind of like they're selling you Toxin General, to, you know, you Command & Conquer people out there. And, yeah, not really hyped about that. That's kind of bullshit, but it goes with the territory. Any kind of publisher that picks up a company like this is going to try to push that shit. That being said, the generals in this game aren't too varied, and you pretty much just have the 3 base factions and all that, so it's probably not that bad. But on the same end, yeah, DLC generals, that's, ugh, just gross. Then again, like I said, if it was EA or Activision, man, oh, they'd make that so much worse. It'd be like DLC units and shit like that. You want the kick-ass German tank? $5. So, gross DLC aside, this is a really good game. I highly recommend picking it up. But that's all the time I got for now, so thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.